right, trying to balance these things up here so they don't fall down. That was a challenge enough. We're going to get into a 556 suppressor comparison, an updated one for 2024. Let's get into it. All right, so we've done these before. I really enjoy doing these. I think it's just more fun than anything else. I do not have a decibel reader, so I will not be giving you decibel numbers, and I will not be making up numbers off of a watch app or off of a phone app or off of a cheap $200 decibel reader from Amazon. Those things don't work for these nitpicky higher decibels. They just don't. So I'm not going to waste my time talking about those numbers, and I'm not going to waste my time buying those things because I would need a $10,000 decibel reader to give you actual data. So we're going to let that horse sit there and see if anybody picks at it. So what do we have here? We've done individual suppressor reviews on all these. So if you have a question about like what's the weight and okay, those are in the specific reviews of every single one of these. So if you need that, go to the channel, go search up whatever the name of the suppressor is, and you should be able to find the individual review. The new ones for this year that I don't think we've added to the lineup before are the Fat Cat from YHM, the KGM R556, and both of the Griffin Armament cans, the Dual-Lok 5 and the HRT 556. I think we've had the other suppressors in the lineups before. If not, then they're added to it as well. But to go down the list in no specific order except for maybe the company name, from Yankee Hill we have the Turbo K. I think I've had this guy the longest. This is an awesome can. The Turbo K, the Fat Cat, and the T3. From Dead Air we have the Sierra 5. And then KGM, that's the R556. Surefire SOCOM 556 RC, hope I said that right. Griffin Armament, HRT 556, and the Dual-Lok 5. These are all dedicated 556 suppressors. There's no 30 cal suppressor here with the 556 front cap. All 556 suppressors dedicated, right? The way that we did it, or the way that I did it to try to... There's no way to make everything 100% fair because it does make a difference, even small. The muzzle devices, so if you have a break in one or you have a direct thread in another, it can make a difference. Not all of these are hub compatible, like half of them are not. So I can't use the same mount and the same muzzle device on every single system. So what I did is every single one of these got some kind of a muzzle device that I was able to direct thread. So the Turbo K actually has a direct thread. The Fat Cat has their Kurtz, but I just left the muzzle device in there and just kind of ran it as a direct thread. The T3, this has a Break-Lok. This is kind of like a Dual-Lok, like a tri-lug, like a dual lug with a ratchet system in it. Anyway, this is from Break Arms, so I'm testing this thing out a little bit, but I just locked in the muzzle device in here. It's not in here right now, but I locked it in there and ran it as a direct thread. Same with all the rest of these. Dead Air Chemo, the mount that comes with the KGM R556, it is the only mount that goes in there. So I just locked that in there, left it there. Same thing with Surefire. Same thing with the Griffin cans. They have their own mounting systems, but I just left them in there, ran everything as direct thread. All right, so without further ado, let's go shoot these things. I'm going to run them on different lengths, different systems, and see how they all sound. Let's do it. All right, 10-3, inspired Mark 18. All right. Alright, so we're going to try to focus on back pressure, gas, and flame. I'm going to try to, best we can here. Turn this over here. There we go. Here we go. We're recording. Here we go. This is just demo. Here we go. We are recording. Here we go. All right, so hopefully we're able to see there. The interesting thing to me, the can that surprised me the most, I was not expecting this at all, any way, shape, or form, the KGM R556 stood out the most to me because he had the most quote-unquote problems on anything that had an adjustable gas setting. And this is actually a good thing, if you really think about it. This is a good thing, because most everything that had an adjustable gas setting, I used bootleg adjustable bolt carrier groups. I think I had the Foxtrot mic adjustable bolt carrier group.
Like that.
The Jackal, that's an adjustable long stroke piston.
This is playing.
Did I have another one in there? I don't remember if I had another one in there or not. But all of those were tuned on a suppressor setting. When I ran the R556, it didn't quite cycle all the way, because
Open it up a little
for
bit,
whatever reason, I guess it does a very good job at flow through, at letting those gases and everything flow out the can and not add extra back pressure to the can. So for whatever reason, the R556 had less back pressure. It didn't cycle on the suppressed settings of most of these systems. Sometimes it kind of would, but then we wouldn't get through all 3 or 5 rounds, whatever we were shooting. It wouldn't work all the time. So I'd have to open this thing up to an unsuppressed setting, and then it ran perfectly fine. So what that shows me is I was not expecting that. Some of these cans are supposed to be flow-throughs, like the HRT, or not HRT. I keep getting that wrong. The Dual-Lok 5, that has vents in the front. That is somewhat of a flow-through can. The Sierra 5 is supposed to have some flow-through stuff, I thought. Even the shorty little guys, right? The Fat Cat and the Turbo K, I would think since they're shorter, they would have less back pressure, but they ran fine. It was really specifically and consistently the KGM R556, which is very interesting to me. If nothing else, it's just interesting. That's the thing that stood out. I'm not saying it's better at anything. Well, it's better at flow through. I'm not saying it's better than all the other cans. I'm just saying that was a significant thing that stood out to me. As far as sound goes, man, it's hard to tell. I'm not going to try to tell you which one sounds the best, because they all, maybe my ears are going bad, but they're all very close. And what is very, very interesting to me is when you stick any one of these on a 20-inch, on our 20-inch full-size rifle, they sound great. Even this little guy, even the Turbo K or the Fat Cat, they sound great. A well-suppressed, full-size 20-inch AR, that is a great sounding gun. Now, when you got down to the shorter barrels, I'm not taking my ears off on a 7.5-inch AR on a shorty little can, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to subject my ears to that. It's going to be loud. It's going to be loud, and that's just all there is to it. It will take the edge off. That's why I went ahead and shot like a naked muzzle before I shot each can to let you know what the suppressor's dealing with. That's a lot of pressure, unburnt powder and stuff, especially on that 7.5 inch shorty. That's a lot of pressure, and these all did well containing that and bringing at least the concussion, bringing that down. All right, guys, so I'm going to shut up before I start rambling too much. That's the suppressor rundown, the 5.56 suppressor rundown for 2024. Every 5.56 suppressor that I have, dedicated 5.56 stuff, I think they did good. I think they did well. My mom would get on to me for that. Interesting. I think they're very interesting. They all have slightly different things that they do really, better on than the other ones. But really, which one stood out to you? I know you weren't there to fiddle fart with the KGM, with the gas settings. So you weren't there to fiddle fart with that. That was me, and that's what stood out to me as a user of these things. But which one stood out to you in whether it be flash or perceived sound through the audio, blowback, all that kind of stuff? Which one maybe stood out to you and surprised you, good or bad or whatever? I'd love to hear back from you guys. And which cans do we need to add, right? Which ones? We're always looking to add different cans, and I can't get everything that's out there. But I would love to hear back from you. If everybody's has a consensus of one certain specific kind of can, maybe we'll try to get it. But I won't know what you want unless you tell me. All right. Appreciate you guys. Really, really do. That's pretty much it. All right. Y'all be good to be safe, and hopefully we'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.